Okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Welcome everyone to the Majlis Ulama Sia online class for Book 6. Today will be the 11th session, inshallah. I am really grateful to all of those who've been attending from the first session. Inshallah, this is our second last session, and next week will be the last one before we have the exam. And hopefully all of you would have registered for the exam as well. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's begin our session. Today we will be talking about fiqh and aqaid. As you know that we alternate fiqh, aqaid, and akhlaq and history every week. This week is fiqh and aqaid. So I will leave the chat open for public use so everyone can see each other's messages. Hopefully we can be respectful of others. If this becomes a challenge, then I will restrict it to host only. If you do want to say something using your mic, then please let me know, and you have a chance to ask questions by talking as well. Again, inshallah, you'll be respectful. So as a reminder, this is book 6 class, and you would have gone through book 1 to 5, and the next one is book 7. So after you finish this, then inshallah in your own madrasas or at your homes, or if Majlis Ulama creates the classes, you could join in book 7. If there is no opportunities, there are book 7 lectures available on YouTube in Majlis Ulama channel. So you could go in and see book 7 classes as well. All the 12 weeks worth of classes are available. So let's set our intentions together. And we are in today's class for no other reason, but we want to follow our religion properly. We want to become a better person, and we all want to support our Imam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten his reappearance. So, okay, before we begin, inshallah, we, like always, we start with the dua from the Holy Quran, and you could all recite this with me together. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi zidni ilma, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He helps us in increasing our knowledge and make us learn new things, because knowledge is power, and the more things we know, the better person we can become in this life, inshallah. So within the topic of fiqh, we will be talking about khums today, and I will be going through some of the important part of khums. It's a detailed subject, and you can learn the basics of it all the way up to Hosa studies, where you can study khums as a scholar. There are lots of rulings in what you do with khums. It's essentially a charity that you give out from your own money. But we will talk about it in a basic way so you understand the concepts, and hopefully you can apply it to yourselves as well. Before I begin talking about khums, I just wanted to know the ages of the students that we have in class. So if you can just type in one number, we've got 8 students, mashallah. If you can just type in one number of your age, then I will have an idea. And because khums is related to people who are baligh only, it doesn't apply to people who are not baligh. So we have an idea. So thank you, Dahira. Okay, thank you, Iman. Thank you, Mariam. Can we have a few more? Qasim is 11, probably the youngest. Mujtaba, can I have your age? Okay, only Mustafa is remaining. Mustafa, do you want to say your age? Oh, 10, okay. So probably you are the youngest in the class. Well done. So obviously we have a difference of ages in terms of being baligh. And for the girls, we have 9 lunar years. So it's not your normal month of the year like January, February, March. It's the Islamic birthday. So it'll be good for you all to find out what your Islamic birthday is. And when you have completed 9 years of your Islamic birthday, then you become baligh. And for boys, it's about 14 years of your Islamic birthday. And there are some other rulings as well. So you could check with your parents and your if there are any scholars or your elders about your being baligh. So if you are baligh, then Khums applies to you. So you have to pay this charity or tax. And if you're not, then it's good to learn so that as soon as you turn baligh, you are then able to apply it. Okay. I'll request people to just answer exactly what the question is and don't engage in a conversation. Otherwise, I may need to like restrict the chat. So when I ask the question, just answer that part only. Thank you for that. So Khums is a religious tax, and like you have other charities that you give for orphans, or you give to poor people, or you give for good causes like building a school or a mosque or niyaz or majlis. That is all at your discretion. So you can either give it or not give it. It's not mandatory or wajib on you to give. It's a highly recommended act. But if you don't give it, then there is no questioning. But Khums is part of Furu'idin, one of the 10 Furu'idins, and if it's applicable to you, you have to give it. So in your notebooks, if you have the same notebook that you've been using for this class, I'd like you to make a lot of notes today and make sure that you understand this topic and start giving it. Most of the people don't understand this and they don't know Khums, so they don't give out this charity. But try and understand it yourself, and if you can check from your parents as well that they are giving Khums or not, then they can learn about this too. Tyra asked about that as young people you don't have jobs, so how can you pay Khums? I'll come to how children can have money as well, and if one of those things apply to you, then only Khums apply. So it's not for everyone. If you are earning money, and we'll talk about how you can earn money, then you have to pay Khums. So Khums is a religious tax, and when you have paid all your expenses, so in multiple situations, let's say you've got £20 available, and you had to pay someone £15 or £10. You borrowed money from your sister or your parents or anyone, and you have to pay that money back. You pay normal charity like to needy people every month. So once you have paid everything that you need to pay and you've got some money left, you have to pay 20% of that money into Khums. And we'll come to the calculation in a second as well. So Khums has got 2 equal parts. Once from your savings you have done the 1/5 of it, then you have to divide that 1/5 into 2 parts. And in those 2 parts, one of them is for what we call Sahme Sadat. This is for the poor people, and the other one is called Sahme Imam, or the part of the Imam, and this needs to be given to a marja that you do taqleed of. So as soon as you become baligh, those of you who are baligh, I am sure that you will be following a marja taqleed like Ayatollah Sistani or Ayatollah Khamenei or any other marja that you want to follow. We talked about taqleed a few classes back. So if you're not doing taqleed of any marja, that is the first step. find out who your parents are doing taqleed of, and yourself as well, and then make a niyyah one day, if you are not doing taqleed, that you are following this marja from this point onwards. And once you've done that, and when we go through the homes topics today, you find out that you have some money to give away in homes, then you have to pay to that marja or his representative. The other part, Sehm Sadat, is to be given to poor people. And some of the marja says that you can give it to the poor people without asking them. Some of the say that you have to ask them and then give it to the poor people. So because you are still young, if you have homes money to pay, you probably want to ask your parents, and whoever they're paying the homes to, you could just add your money in there as well. So what is a bit more details on the homes part, and you all would know that the world has an economic system. I will come to that, Tahira, on how often do we need to do it in a detail. So just wait a bit. So the world has an economic system where everyone is earning money and everyone is spending money. If you notice, your parents would be working or they'll have their own business, and in some way you will have some money coming into your house. And at the same time, you will notice that you have bills like your electricity bill, water bill, and phone bill, and all those bills, and also your food that you buy every month. Maybe you put petrol in your car, that's a monthly expense, and you buy clothes, and different things in your house. So you have income coming in, and you have all your expenses going out. That's called the economic system of the world. Any money that is left from your income and expenses is called savings, and you keep your savings and spend it on a later date. So the Islamic economic system is based on khums. Within Islam, you can have your normal income and your normal expenses, and whatever savings you have left, you give 20% of that to Islam, to your religion, and we'll find out like where is this money spent. But to do that, you can't do that all the time. So not every month you can do that. So what is required from you is that you set up a date every year. They set up one date. It could be any date of the calendar. For example, mine is the 1st of September. You could set it 1st of Ramadan. You could set it 12th of December. Any date, 1st of January. Set up any date. That is the date when you will do your calculation of how much money came in and how much money went out. What is your savings, and then calculate the 20%. So going back to the process, first of all is you need to do taqleed of a marja. After you have done the taqleed, you and you have checked, which we'll go through in a second, that you have some money available. Then you have to pay khums, and on that particular date that you have set, you do your calculation, and on that calculation, whatever money is left as 20%, you pay that out as khums. Now, I have mentioned that khums is paid on cash, and khums is also paid on unused items. So most of the people think that khums is only paid on cash, but it is not just cash, it's also unused items. So you can see a picture of clothes in there. This is a typical example, that you have a piece of clothing like your shirt or trousers or jackets or hats or anything that you wear, and that piece of clothing hasn't been used for a whole year. So you've bought a shirt and it's in your wardrobe for a whole year, and you haven't bought anything. You haven't used it at all. If your date of khums comes and that shirt is not used, then you have to pay 20% of the value of that shirt. And this is a ruling. Thank you for the question about khums and zakat. I will come to you about zakat at the end. Um, and thank you, Iman. I'll talk about the gifts as well in a second when I talk about earnings. So homes is paid on cash and on unused items both, and it's not just clothing. Anything that you buy from your money and you haven't used it, then you have to pay homes on it. And it includes, for example, someone has given you headphones, or you bought headphones from your own money, and those headphones were not used on your home's date. Then you have to, from the value of those headphones, you have to pay 20% in homes. Now, lots of you are asking how, as young people, how do you earn money? And there could be multiple ways, but I've just listed some of them. Let's say that in your homes, your father or your mother or your elder brother or someone says, if you do this for me, I'll give you £10. For example, I say to my son that if you wash my car, I'll give you £10. Or you cut out the grass in the garden and you'll get £10. Or for any reason, they do some work, a small work for me, or for anyone else in the family, and they get £10. As expenses means that someone asks you to go and drop a letter to someone, right? And then they will give you some money against it. So as part of your train ticket or bus ticket or anything that is required for you to go to that place, they give you some money, and that money is left. So that would be your money. Pocket money as well. Sarah says, yeah. So someone gives you money. This is the last example where someone just gives it to you. So without any reason, your parents are giving £10 to you every month, and you could use it for whatever. Let's say that you have something extra in your things. It could be let's say a computer game, or it could be a toy, or it could be a book, and you sell it to someone. So you have a book and you say give it to your friend, and the friend gives you £1 against it. So you could have that £1 coming in. Gifts and treats are a special topic. This depends on your merger. Some of the mergers, like Ayatollah Sistani says, I think, that if you receive a gift, then you don't have to pay khums on it. For example, on Eid day, you get Eid money as a gift, then you don't, or on your birthday, you get some money. That's not counted. But some of the merger says that any gifts and treats are also applicable for your homes. So whoever you do taqleed of, you need to check with them that if gifts and treats are counted as homes money or not. But from these 5 things or any others, if you earn any sort of money, and if you look in your pocket or your wallet or something, and then let's say you've got £20 in there, then you will have to pay homes and your baligh as well. So it's not only about doing a job, it's about earning money from anywhere. Now comes the homes calculation. So I have given an example in there, and I want you to do your own calculations. You don't have to share the answer, but do your calculation on a piece of paper in your notebook. That today is your home state. So today is the 27th of June, and you have set it as your home state for the year. And you sit down in your room and find that in your wallet you've got £22. And if you are old enough to have a bank account, you see that you have £100 in your bank. But then you see that in your room you have found a computer game. It's £35, and you haven't used it, up till now. Then you find that you have a shirt that you bought for yourself for £10, and it hasn't been worn, and it's just sitting in your wardrobe. So in total, you have 22 plus 100 plus 35 plus £10 available. I'll give you 5 minutes, or not 5 minutes, but 2 minutes only to calculate how much homes you need to give if you are baligh, if you have done taqleed and you have a marja, and if you have all this money available. So, Tyra, I don't understand the question. What happens if you use it and want to do homes on it? So if you have used, let's say you have a computer game and you have played that game, then you don't have to pay homes on it. If you have a shirt and you have worn it, even if it's once before your homes date, then you don't have to pay homes on it. But if it's something that's just sitting there with a tag on and you haven't touched it, anything that is in your room, which you have bought, or in case of different mergers, it's been given as a gift to you, then you have to pay homes on it. So once you have done the calculations, then let me know on chat, and then I'll show you the calculation as well. I'll give it about 2 minutes. Please don't put the answers on chat. Just wait, and then I'll show you the answers. If you want, you can send the answer to me privately on chat. So thank you, Qasim, for sending that. Okay, how are we doing? Are we progressing well? Okay, I'll give it another 30 seconds. And this is just an example. So when you set your home state, and if you haven't set one and you're baligh, I urge you to do that now, because all the time that you're not paying homes, you are actually keeping someone else's money, and it's a big sin to do. So it is very important that you understand homes and pay homes on time as well. So let's move on to the calculation. Total homes to be paid is 33.4. And how did I get to this? Is this calculation. So if you can see that I did 1/5 of everything and then made a total of that, and the total came to £33.40. So yeah, so do your calculation, and even if it's, I mean, I've shown like some big numbers maybe for you, but even if you have 10 rupees or 10 pounds or any other money, even if it's like a little bit of it, some coins as well, but it doesn't matter, you still have to pay homes on it. So what is homes used for? Once you have paid the homes to your marja, or any other people who've got the permission from your marja, homes is used for feeding the poor. So those who haven't got enough money, they can go to the marja and ask for homes money. It's used for education. So you see in Iran and Iraq, there are Hosa and Islamic seminaries, where all the religious students and teachers live and study. Those are run on homes. All the mosques in the world, they run on donations, but if they need extra money, then homes can be paid for that. And also sometimes you see scholars and people who are not working in daytime, but working in a mosque, or sometimes they go out and do tabligh. Some homes money is sometimes paid for them as well. So all these things are our backbone of our system. The money that you pay, this important, very important foundational expenses. And as I said, even if you have very little money, you still have to pay homes. Or even if you have no money, you have to do a calculation on the date of your homes and then find out that you have nothing to pay, and then obviously don't pay. But if you haven't set a date, you don't do any calculation, you just say, oh, homes doesn't apply on me, then that is not right. Okay, so let's move on to the assessment. We'll have the Kahoot in the end actually, sorry. And just a roundup of homes. So if you're Baligh, you need to do taqleed of a marja. You need to pay homes if it applies, which means that after your calculation, if you find that you have some savings, you have to pay homes then. You have to set an annual homestay, and on the date is best to do the calculation on the date, but if you can't do it for any reason, then you could do it as soon as that date passes, the next day, or any other day as soon as possible. And you have to pay homes to your marja or his representative. So people who live in the UK, we've got Ayatollah Sistani representative. It's called Imam Ali Foundation. You can contact them via the website or phone them or somehow tell them that you have homes to pay. And those of you who follow Ayatollah Khamenei, then you have to pay to Islamic Center of England. But without paying homes, you are keeping someone else's money. It's also said that it's Imam's money that you are keeping, and if you spend from it, then the same sin applies as if you spend money from someone else's pocket. So it's very very important subject, and understand it and also see if it applies to you. Okay, let's move on to aqaid and today's topic. Actually, before we move on to aqaid, has anyone got any questions related to khums? Thank you, Sarah. I know that you're very impatient for Kahoot, but it will come in the end at the right time. Anyone else who's got any questions about khums? Is that something you knew before? Is that something you'll start doing from now? Those of you who are baligh and think that they have some money. I'd like to have some feedback from the students, please. So Iman, Hassan, Maria, Mustafa, Tahira. Yeah, if you have a question, you can ask it in public so that everyone understands. So Tahira says that if you have any money, then you will do homes. Very good, thank you. Mustafa, they knew that you have to give it to an Ayatollah. Yes, so homes. The reason why you give it to an Ayatollah is that if you take out homes, you could just give it to anyone you think is poor, but may not be poor. And there are also some other things that need to run on homes. So Ayatollahs are responsible for running those systems. Qasim says, do you have to do homes with £1? Yes, if you have £1 remaining, then you have to pay 20p for homes. Yeah, Iman says every year the money will get less every year, but if you notice, you will get more money every year as well. So no one would, if you've paid homes 1 year, then it will never be the case that you will only have that money until the next year. And if you do, that means that you don't have any expenses. So you didn't do anything the whole year and you have money left, and then you have to pay the homes. Do we give the money to the poor, of the poor to the marja? Again, as I said, that you have to give one part of the money to the marja. The second part, depending on who you follow. So if you follow Ayatollah Sistani, you can give it to anyone. But if you follow another one, another marja, then you can give it. You have to ask them for permission. Should homes be given to a sayyid or ghair sayyid? That doesn't matter. You can give homes to anyone, as long as your merger allows that. Okay, so very good questions in there. Do you still have to pay homes on pocket money, which you aren't using but saving for future? So, uh, if with regards to savings, if you have £10 and on that day, on your home's date, you know for sure that out of that £10, you have to use £5 for something specific. If you don't know what you will be using it for, it's just a saving that you could use for anything, then you have to pay homes on it. Home state is kept by yourself, so you can set any date. It could be even your birthday, it could be the Eid day, it could be 1st of January, any date you can set for your home state. And every year when that date comes, review it and do your calculation. Yeah, so Iman, if you have 20p left in homes, you have to pay the 10p to Sahm Imam and 10p for Sahm Sadar. Because it's not about the money, it's about doing a wajib. Like you don't ask Allah, why do I pray 2 units for Fajr and 4 for Zohar? You just follow what Allah's guide is. Allah's guide is that you have to split your homes into two. Whatever it is, you just follow the principles of Islam. Yes, £1 can be given in homes as well. Okay, thank you. Lots of questions. Inshallah, we'll see if we have some time. We can have more questions in the end. Let's move on to the topic of aqaid. And today we'll be talking about qiyamah. And it's a very common subject. Everyone knows about qiyamah, the end of time, day of judgment. But some people, or I'd say most of the people, don't actually understand the significance or the importance of this topic and this day, and also a very important aqidah or belief question. So Qiyamah is a topic which is discussed a lot in the Holy Quran, and there's loads and loads of ayahs relating to it. I have put some ayahs on the screen that you can see. I'll read some of them as well, just so that we read the translation together. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first one is from Surah Zumar, verse 68. And the trumpet will be blown, and whoever is in the heavens will soon, and whoever is on the earth except whom Allah wishes. This says that whenever the Qiyamah event will begin, a trumpet will be blown, and everything in heaven and the earth will vanish, only apart from things that Allah wants to remain. Second one says the day the earth is transformed into another earth and the heavens as well, and they are presented before Allah, the One, the Supreme. So in Surah Ibrahim, Allah says that the earth that we live in or we are on right now, this will be changed into a different, almost like flooring where you will stand on, and heavens will go as well. There will be, the heaven as they look like in your on top of you, like the skies and the clouds. They will all change, and all of them will be presented in front of Allah. So, Kairos, who does Allah wish will survive the trumpet? So the trumpet is the loud sound that will announce the beginning of Qiyamah. And I'll tell you in the next slide like what happens when the trumpet is blown. Another ayah says in Surah Ma'arij, the day when they emerge from the graves, hurrying as if racing towards a target. So on the day when the trumpet will be blown, everyone who is in the grave will come out, and they will rush towards a place where the day of judgment will be happening. In Surah Taha, Allah says, they question you concerning the mountains. Say, my Lord will scatter them like dust, then he will leave it, the earth a level plain. You will not see any crookedness or unevenness. On that day, they will follow a caller in whom there will be no crookedness. The voices will be silenced before the All Merciful, and you will hear nothing but a murmur. So yes, Sarah says it's scary. It is going to be a scary day, but it will be scary for those people who have done bad deeds. For the people who have done good deeds, it will actually be a very happy occasion, because that is the time where they will get all their reward. So some of these ayahs of the Quran explain, what is going to happen, and there are lots more as well. Whenever you read the Quran next with translation, try and see when ayat relating to Qiyamah comes, and then feel it as well. What will happen on that day. So even if we are alive on that day, or if we are dead by that time, we will be raised from our graves, and everyone will witness Qiyamah. So let's see some of the physical signs. So what will happen on the day of Qiyamah? The first one is that it is the end of time. So everything will finish at that time. From that point onwards, the earth and the world will not remain. So everything will stop. Like the world began thousands of years ago, that is the time when the world will come to an end. That will be a day of judgment. So uh, when people do good deeds and bad deeds, some of the rewards are given to them in this world, and even some of the punishment is given to them in this world as well. But some of the reward and punishment is kept until the day of judgment. And this is the day when the rewards that were not given to you in this world, or the punishment that was not given to you in this world, would be given to you. It starts with the blowing of the trumpet. So, does anyone know which angel will blow the trumpet? There are four main angels with four specific jobs. Yes, so Hassan says Angel Israfil. Yes, thank you, Iman, as well. So, Angel Israfil, his only job, he hasn't been doing much since day one. So he's been waiting for a very long time. But his only job is to blow this trumpet. And it's obviously a very powerful trumpet that everyone will hear. And even in their graves, and it will just make the dead people alive, when they hear the trumpet. So the day of Qiyamah will begin with the blowing of the trumpet. As I said, yeah, everyone will be raised from their graves. And as you can kind of see in the picture, it's not quite like this, but on this day you will see everyone standing in a big ground, right next to each other, and they all will know that today is the day of judgment, and it will kind of look like this picture. Sarah asked Day of Judgment, how many days will be? So in the rivayats, we are told that it is going to be one day, but it's going to be a very long day. So you can't count it like 1 day or 2 days. It will be one day, but a very long day on that. And the last one is that the earth, the mountains, the skies, the oceans, everything would be just shattered. So none of those sun, moon, everything would just go, and there would be just nothing there apart from a big ground and lot of people. So what will happen on the day of judgment? Iman asks, how many days until Imam Mahdi comes? Yes, that's a very good question. One of the things that we do know about Qiyamah is Qiyamah will not happen until Imam Mahdi comes. So we can say that Qiyamah, can happen if Imam Mahdi comes tomorrow. Then Qiyamah can happen just after that, but it will at least be tomorrow, because we don't have Imam Mahdi yet. So he may, inshallah, he comes soon. So what will happen on the day of Qiyamah? There will be no chance of return. So all these people who are going in one direction, no one can just turn back and say, "Oh, today's Qiyamah, I don't feel like it. I'll just go back to this world." You will have no will or choice of your own. you have to be present in the day of judgment. The good and bad deeds register will be closed. So when you're alive, like all of us, we can do good deeds and we can do bad deeds. When we pass away, then the people who are our relatives, they can do good deeds for us, and similarly, our relatives can do bad deeds for us as well. If they do something wrong, then that sin is written in our register as well. So, but on the day of judgment, the good and bad deeds register will be closed, and no one will be able to do any more good deeds or any more bad deeds. Whatever they've done or their relatives have done, that would be it. All your body parts will start talking on that day. This is what we have been told in the riwayas, that when we talk from our tongues or our mouths, we think and we say whatever we want to say. But if our hands have to talk, or if our eyes have to talk, or if our legs have to talk, then we'll have no more control on it, and the hands will say whatever they want to say, if they were used in good things or not. Allah will be the master of the day of judgment, as it says in Surah Al-Fatiha, Maliki Yawmiddin. He is the day of the judge, master of the day of judgment. He will go through all our deeds, the bad deeds and the good deeds, and everyone who's done good things will be really, really happy. The bad deeds people obviously will not be that happy. There's also a concept of shafa'at or intercession. Has anyone heard of the word intercession or shafa'at from the Prophet or Imams? Anyone? Yes, shafa'at. What does shafa'at means? Iman says health. Anyone else? Caring for someone else? Anyone else? Sarah says health as well. So this is not shafa, which is health. This is shafa'at, called intercession in English. We won't go hell forever because of them, Tyra says. Anyone else? So for all of you who have said health or caring for someone, that is not the right answer. Think of something else. They will try and help us to go to the heaven, Hassan says. Okay, so I'll give you one example, saving us and doing good, Iman, yeah? So I'll give you one example, and that will be something hopefully you can remember for life. Think of a situation when you have done an exam. The exam was for 100 marks in total, and the passing mark is 75. So if you get 75 out of 100, then you pass the exam. When the teacher marks all your questions, you get 72 marks, right? And the passing mark is obviously 75. And from the 72, it looks like you will fail the exam. Now, at that time, it's at the teacher's discretion to go through your paper again and see if he can give you some more marks so you can get to 75. Because if you don't get to 75, obviously you have to spend the whole year again, learn, go to the classes, come back again, and you waste quite a lot of time and effort and money. And it's only a few marks, that has been remaining. So what shafa'at means, that teacher will close the gap between your passing mark and your mark that you got. So the teacher will give you 3 extra marks just so that you can pass and you can go to the next stage. What will happen on the day of judgment is that you have done, let's say, 100 good deeds, and you have done a lot of bad deeds as well. And when Allah does your calculation, it looks like that you won't be able to make to paradise because your bad deeds are more, than your good deeds. What the Prophet and Imams have the right, and Allah has given them this power, that if someone is going to go to hellfire, but it's a very small difference in their good deeds and bad deeds. Because of the love of Ahlul Bayt and the Prophet and Imams can say, "Oh Allah, don't send him to hellfire and send him to the paradise." That doesn't mean that you can do bad deeds and the Imams and Prophet will save you. You have to still do a lot of good deeds and try and avoid the bad deeds. But if it turns out that you have more bad deeds than good deeds, then the Prophet and Imams can help you. That's the meaning of intercession or shafaat. And lastly, in Qiyamah, paradise or hell will be decided. So after all this day, all your question answers, your body parts talking, everyone worrying, not worrying about other people, last decision would be that if you are going to go to paradise or hell. And I'm sure no one would want to go to hell because it's definitely a bad place and it's quite a scary place, as said in the Holy Quran. So we'll read one more ayah before we end. So this is in Surah Abasa. So when the deafening cry comes, the day when a man will evade his brother, his mother, and his father, his spouse, and his sons, that day each of them will have something to keep them preoccupied. So Surah Abasa says that when the trumpet will be blown, it will be a very loud noise, almost like deafening noise. Uh, Everyone will forget their brother, mother, father, spouse, sons, because they all will be worrying about themselves on that day. So it is a day when you'll be really worried and you want to get through that day in a good way. This letters of the Quran speaking, I haven't actually heard of that. So it may be right, but I haven't heard of Quran letters talking. Sorry, maybe right. So let's do, actually, let's just finish off this topic and then we'll do our Kahoot in the end. So some of the key points today. Qiyamah will not come before the Zuhur of our Imam. We have to be ready for that because we can die anytime. We can die after this lesson, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2 weeks later, anytime we can die. So we have to be like really, really ready. We have to do more good deeds, and anytime we do anything bad, then please ask for Allah's forgiveness. We should also do something good that can continue after we die until the day of Qiyamah. So let's say you give £1 to an orphan, and that orphan and you pass away. Until that orphan is alive, Allah will keep giving you sawab. So do something for others that can last until the day of judgment. And lastly, have a lot of love for the Prophet and Imams, and they will help, inshallah. So let's move on to Kahoot now. Can everyone see my screen? Can everyone see my, oh, okay, let me just change, one moment. Can you see the screen now? Okay. Let me see. So we've got 8 people, and hopefully once we have 8, then we will start joining in. Great. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Question number 1. Well done. You all got that right. Good. It's 20% of your savings. So not the 20% of the whole amount, but whatever you have saved out of that 20%. Okay, Hassan, Mariam, and Qasim on the top. Homes can be paid on any date every year. Is that true or false? Half of you said true and half of you said false. The question meant that you can pay homes on any date. You have to set a date and you can pay it on the set date only. Every year you can't have a different date. So those of you who didn't got it right. Tahira, Mustafa, and Iman, well done. Question number 3. How can young people earn money? Okay, all of these, yeah. So you can sell something, someone can give you money, you can do household jobs, all of these, well done. Okay, Mustafa moves on the top. Question number 4. You have 50 worth of savings. Homes to be paid is 10. Yes, that's right. So 1/5 of 50 is what you have to pay homes. What is homes money used for? Is it used for scholars going on holidays? The marja buys expensive cars? Is it for education of religious students, or one marja can do whatever? Good. It's for one of the things is education for religious students. Hassan moves on the top, and then we have Mustafa, Tahira, and Iman. Well done. Homes can be paid to marja or his representative. Good. These are the only 2 people you can pay the homes to. If you have ijazat from them, then you can pay it to other people. Okay, Mustafa is on the top. Question number 7. How will Qiyamah begin? There will be no electricity, the sky will turn black, the sun will not rise, or there will be a trumpet blown. Then you all got it understood really easily. There will be a trumpet. Question number 8. All nations will stand with their prophet and imams. Yes, don't know who got it wrong. That if that is not true, then it will be a big problem. So this is an ayah of the Quran as well, that everyone will be brought in front of Allah along with their imam. So Daniel moves on the top. Question number 9. On the day of judgment, we can hide our bad deeds, stay quiet, run away, or none of these. Yeah, we can't do any of that. Someone said we can just stay quiet. Unfortunately, if you stay quiet, then your tongue would start talking. The spelling of quiet is not quite right. It should be Q-U-I-E-T. Sorry for that. Okay, Daniel, Iman, and Mariam. Last question. If we do nothing, Prophet and Imam will save us on the day of judgment. Okay, so this is false. Those of you who said true, if we do absolutely nothing, then the Prophet and Imams will not save us. We have to do our good deeds and make sure we avoid bad deeds. And if there's a little bit remaining, then inshallah, the Prophet and Imam will save us. So let's look at the podium for today. We have Mariam in the third place, Daniel in the second place, and Iman on the first place. Well done, all of you. And we have Sarah and Hassan as runner-ups. Further. Okay, so that ends our session. Now, next week is our last session, and let's just have a finish of this, and then I'll ask you something. Let's end with the dua of our Imam Zaman. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan. صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وذليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. May Allah hasten the reappearance of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. So this is the link to register for the MUS online assessment. If you haven't done so, then please register on this link. The exam is on the 5th of July. Now, next class is our last class, and I wanted to ask you something. Do we have two options, considering that you all love Kahoot so much? We can cover another topic, or we can do a revision of all that we have done in the past in the form of a Kahoot. So what would everyone like? Do we do another topic so you learn more, or do we do a revision of everything that we have done so far? I kind of expected the answer, but I thought I'll ask. Have the classes been useful so far? Have you learned new things? Okay, that's great. So looks like it looks like a Kahoot. So we won't have the the usual content. What I'll do is I'll prepare a Kahoot for all the subjects that we have done in the past, and then at the end we will just have a sort of a revision, basically. You will have the questions, practice questions on Majlis Ulama website too. So you can look at the practice question and prepare for the exams. So inshallah, next class will be on the 4th of July, next Saturday. We pray that may Allah keeps us and everyone else safe until then, inshallah. Thank you very much for today's session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.